Anyway, you see where he's coming from. Even before auto-emancipation, he goes further. He wants Hebrew too, and he succeeds. Now, I am not sure that, it's a tremendous achievement single-handedly to revive a dead language, and he did do it single-handedly through his example, others following. But of course, Hebrew is good for the country in Israel, but it makes life a little difficult for newcomers. It's very difficult, and it's very hard to assimilate, if you go there, because they're all speaking Hebrew, which they learn at birth, and it's a very difficult language to learn. Not because of the amount of the vocabulary is not great. It doesn't have a huge vocabulary. In fact, it's a very compressed language. But it doesn't sound like the King James Bible at all. It's, it's not all flowery and eloquent. It says in few words what the King James Bible puts in Shakespearean English, which is a great achievement, the King James Bible, for all that. But you see, it has no vowels. So you have to speak it before you can read it even. So, okay, the Bible is voweled, and prayer books are voweled, but the newspapers, the common language of Israel has no vowels. So, they didn't develop a vowel system like we have in English to some extent. Even English is a bit of a mess for foreigners. So, I mean, if you look at a word and it says S-H-L-N, you've got to put this in like this. It's not in there. And I can't think of any other words that are good, but okay, here's a good one. This does have a sign like that in there, which shows there's an I in there, but you have to put the A, you have to double the D, and you have to put the I to get Sadiq out of that. And, it's pretty hard, unless you're already speaking it, to do that. So, on the one hand, it's very good for the national unity of the Jews in Palestine or Israel, whatever you want to call it. But for newcomers, it's, and you'll find Jews around the world don't speak Hebrew, are not able to speak Hebrew. They can pray in it, some, the religious Jews, but they can't speak it. And the problem is the vowelization, and they're not born into it. So he did achieve a great thing, but on the other hand, I'm not sure if everyone spoke English in Israel today. I don't know what that would affect, but it would make reception of outsiders much easier. I guess it wouldn't be a good thing. But anyway, Ben Yehuda did it all himself by his example, and this terribly, he was possessed. And as I said, he went there, and I don't know how he lived. Yeah.
I heard he wouldn't speak with his own mother. He shouldn't speak.
Wouldn't speak anybody, except he wouldn't speak, and he wouldn't let his children, and he wouldn't do it either. What was that woman's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. My wife worked with. Her name was, she wasn't married. Her name was still Ben Yehuda. I can't remember what her first name was. But she would tell stories about her father. Anyway.
Is Arabic the same way?
Arabic?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Except it's a much richer language.
So he was an Arabic speaker as well, I assume.
Maybe he learned some in North Africa and then he absorbed some Arabic in Jerusalem. I don't know what his Arabic comprehension was. Arabic's a very difficult language. I studied Arabic 4 years and I don't consider I've mastered even like 1/10 of it. At graduate school I studied Arabic and Hebrew, but I don't think I've, used to ask me to start rattling off either language. I mean, it's not going to sound pretty. And I certainly can't rattle off Arabic after 4 years, that's for sure. Now Arabic is constructed in the same way Hebrew is, but it's much richer. And the reason for that is it was put into writing much later. People don't realize. They think written languages are rich. No, oral languages are rich. Written languages become sort of frozen in place. since Hebrew was put into writing very early on, it didn't develop beyond where it was at to that extent. Whereas Arabic was not put into writing. Hebrew, let's say, was put into writing probably in 8th, 9th century, 8th, 7th century BC, something like that. Maybe earlier, I don't even know, but certainly 9th, 8th, 7th century BC. Arabic didn't get put into writing until really the Quran was written in 600s AD. It was never reduced to writing. There's no written Arabic that we know of before about, before the Quran. So it's a very rich oral language. So the vocabulary is around 5 times as great as Hebrew. It's got a vocabulary 5 times what Hebrew really has, because of the rich oral development. Okay, well, but it's equally as difficult. The grammar is exactly the same. Arabic grammar is the same as Hebrew, except richer. I mean, Hebrew has 3 or 4 verb forms. Arabic's got about 6 or 7. And Hebrew is not inflected. Arabic is inflected. You know what inflected means? It has case endings, which show objective case, nominative case, genitive case. Hebrew doesn't have any of that.
Doesn't Arabic have more, like beginnings, middles, and endings too? Or is it just...
It also has plurals that are all not always the same, that have various patterns. It's a much more complex language than Hebrew, because it was used, as I said, orally much longer. I can't tell you any more about it than that, but you want to start studying Arabic, that's why the American Army doesn't have any translators over there, because it can't depend on American native studies of Arabic. It's got to take people who are already speakers. We have ample number of them, but for some reason no one bothered enlisting those people and taking them over with the U.S. Army, which is pretty pathetic to start a campaign and not do that. All right, well, we have come to the biggie. I tried to hold back, but we might as well take a look at him. Herzl. So 1860, he's born. Fairly well-to-do family in Hungary. Loved by his mother. German was his basic language. It was the dominant language of Central Europe. He enrolled in the law faculty in Vienna ultimately. By the way, he liked the student clubs. German universities were the first to have all these kinds of student clubs that we now call fraternities.